Hi everyone, this is Niki Rowland and I'm back today guest designing for Confessions of a Paper Addict, and I had this fabulous pumpkin time cut file to work with. So I have cut it out in orange cardstock, and then I have backed it with a large piece of orange pattern paper, and I've backed the leaves separately with a yellow pattern paper. So and the stalk I've backed with kraft cardstock. So I did all of those bits on my silhouette machine and cut those out and backed them really easily, really quickly. So literally just stuck them in place with some wet glue. I have, you can see that it's going to be a large feature on my layout, and I have this one photo of my daughter with her pumpkin, and I was really in love with this that pumpkin print paper that I've just torn a piece of. It was too busy to be a whole sheet. I did flirt with the idea of doing that, but it just wasn't, it lost a lot of the definition of the big pumpkin, so I decided to put a big torn strip behind the main area where my layout will be, and tear it, and that was enough. You know, that was I had enough of that beautiful pretty pumpkin print in without overpowering the whole layout. So from another piece of that pumpkin print, I've fussy cut a whole ton of those little pumpkins. You can see those at the top there, and then I've also cut torn another strip of pattern paper, the blue, and I'm going to add that blue strip underneath my pumpkin torn strip. So I'll hopefully get a nice effect of a couple of paper layers. Okay, so I'm just now sticking those two layers in place, and then you can see that I have a real good foundation there for my layout. So I had a bit of a problem there in that I put my big torn layer too far above the first one, and showed a gap in the papers, so I just had to sort that out. But yeah, that's all now stuck in place, and I can add my pumpkin in place as well. So that's the bare bones of my layout, really. So now I've obviously got to add my photo, which I've mounted on the same colour blue, and then I can just go nuts with the embellishment. So that's my favourite part of scrapbooking usually. So yeah. Okay, so I'm adding now another strip of torn paper. So I just felt that the top part of the pumpkin print needed a little bit of extra definition, and I decided to bring in the colour that I have backed the stalk of the pumpkin with. That's kraft. I really don't like kraft. It's like my least favourite colour to scrap with. I know that's probably a bit controversial because lots of people love it, but I really don't. But on this occasion, the colours and the tones from the photo and the whole fall or autumn theme, it worked. You can see I've only used a very small amount. It's only a tiny amount showing above that pumpkin print. So yeah. Okay, so photo in place, all my paper layers in the background in place, and now I can start adding embellishments. So I'm using the Carta Bella Fall Market collection. It's perfect for photos from this time of year with lots of pumpkins and harvest themed things. So we spent a day at a farm a little while ago, and we picked our own pumpkins and generally had a great day. So this pumpkin cut file and the Fall Market collection by Carta Bella, they were both perfect. So I had a whole sheet of chipboard to use, so I was just going through, picking out which embellishments worked well, and getting those put in place. So a number of chipboard ones, and then of course loads of my lovely little fussy cut pumpkins. So I'm just adding those in place now, and just keep building up on my embellishment area, really. So the little area to the left of my photo, I just felt was a bit naked, so I'm just putting some bits in there. There's a big head again, and I just wanted to add a little area next to my photo. So I've done that, and now I've got most of my things stuck in place, and I'm just adding in my final little fussy cut pumpkins, and that's most of my embellishment done, or the majority anyway. So now I've just cut a triangle in the top part of the layout. So obviously there was a lot of white space in the top section of the layout, so I wanted to bring a little bit of colour up there to the top. So I'm going to use this stripe print, and I'm gutting the middle of this paper in case I want to use the frame as a border on a different layout. So from that middle piece that I've taken out, I'm going to cut a strip, and that is what will back my triangle there. So you can see that that's what I'm doing there. And then I just felt that it needed another colour as well, so I thought I would add some of the yellow too. So the yellow is what I backed the leaves with earlier, so it was nice to bring in that colour up to the top of the layout as well. Yeah, I'm just doing exactly the same, cutting a strip to go under that triangle, but I'm also going to make that into a triangle too, as you can see there, because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to see the striped print behind it. Just getting those couple of bits stuck in place. It's quite subtle, that yellow, but actually it works really well. It just brings in that pop of yellow and brings the layout all together really, because say it's in the leaves of the pumpkin cut file. From Confessions of a Paper Addict. So that was all nice. It all kind of tied it in, brought it together. So I'm just going through my stash now and pulling out some other things that might go well with this collection. I didn't have a lot of this Carta Bella Fall Market collection, therefore I have had to look at other collections as well to see what else I could use. So I had a few leaves and things left over from a kit. I'm just tucking those in wherever I can. So I like the blue colour, and then I had like a darker blue colour, but actually the darker blue didn't really work, so I added some dark blue and then took it out again. And then I'm fiddling around with where my title will go. I don't want the word amazing to be my title, but it works as a word for my layout, so I thought I would play around to see if I could get that on there. No, I couldn't. So I've gone for these gold thickers instead, and I'm going to make my own title, which will be Pick Your Own. So does anyone else do this, but putting all their thickers onto their hand first? I remember seeing a post about it once on a Facebook group, and lots of people were like, no, why would I ever stick thickers onto my hand? That would make them less sticky, which it probably does. But I have to make sure I have all of the letters, and so I can only do that by pulling them out. And I always stick them on my hand, up my arm, all sorts, to make sure I have all the right letters that I need. So I stick them to my hand first, and then I stick them onto my layout. So there we go, I have got Pick Your Own. Now those stickers aren't that sticky, so I'm going to have to machine stitch through them. In hindsight, I probably should have, because of the curve at the top of the pumpkin print, I probably should have stuck those down with glossy accents rather than sew a wiggly line through them, but that's what I do, and I can't go back now. I'm just adding some twiddles of golden thread, tucking those in wherever I can. So obviously this is a pumpkin cut file, and pumpkins have lots of, curly leaves or tendrils, and I wanted to mimic that with the golden thread. So I put quite a few of those in and left my ends long. So I'm just adding in now a few enamel dots and hearts. I brought in a darker colour, like a deep, it's almost black. I just the few pops of that I thought would work. I'm just adding some splatters of paint directly from the bottle, I'm just literally a few splatters at the bottom and a few at the top. I just felt that it needed a little bit of just needed a few splatters. Because every layout needs a few splatters, right? Okay, so I'm just handwriting in my title. So I felt that my top part of my layout was a long way from the main part of the layout. So I just brought them closer together by extending my journaling down from that triangle further down towards the title. And that is me done. So there is my completed layout, and here are a few close-ups. Thank you so very much for joining me today. I hope you have enjoyed this layout, and will go and check out all of the fabulous fall and autumn themed cut files available in the Confessions of a Paper Addict store. Thanks so much for joining me. That was Niki Rowland.